Thank you, thank you. All right, looks like we got everyone in here, right? Let's get started.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. So let us begin. So my name is Anwar, and we are now hosting the second Layer 3 Community Town Hall. I'm super excited to be here and super excited to see you all here as well. So again, thank you everybody for joining. We know that coming and attending these things in real time, in real life, is a big ask for a crypto community. So this is the biggest thing for us. We much appreciate you coming. So, building on the announcement of the all-new IDEX, as mentioned, this is the second community town hall for all the updates you need on the world's first Layer 3 exchange. So as mentioned last time, we're doing this every 2 weeks, but are also building on the feedback from you guys, our community. So once again, if there is any alpha to be found, this is the place to find it. If you guys might have caught our comms these past couple of weeks, you will also know that we will be handing out limited edition Pope NFTs only available here on the community town hall. So, okay, guys, now just before I hand it over to Alex and team, Victor and co, I'm just going to explain how we're going to conduct this call just so we're clear. As Alex and the rest of the team speak, feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. We will answer as many of them as we can at the end. Now, the highest quality, most intelligent questions that are the most relatable to what is being said might be acknowledged with a limited edition Pope NFT. And these come in limited quantities only. So, limited edition, limited quantities, super exclusive, and potential future utility. So please try not to spam. There might also be some spare popes that we hand out for good chatter, so we do encourage that too. But please, guys, intelligent chatter and be kind, especially to each other, because respect is above all. So if you are a winner, within 24 hours of the call ending, Carlo or Laura will DM you the instructions on how to claim your prize. But please beware of imposters and make sure to check the credentials of the person DMing you. Now, to do this, look at our Discord channel, and on the right, look at the list that says support team and make sure everything lines up, please. So good luck and good chatter to everybody. And congratulations in advance to our future winners. So, on that note, I'm wondering if Alex and Victor are ready to begin with the meat of the community town hall. If you guys are ready, I'll be able to hand it over to you. You guys want to do a mic test?
Hey, what's up, guys? All good?
Okay. Alex is all good. Victor, you good?
Yes, sir. We're good to go.
All right.
right.
So Alex is okay. Yeah. Take it away, Alex.
Yeah, thank you, Anwar, for the introduction. Great job as always. So, as he mentioned, we want to do these more frequently. We've kicked off the last one, which was a big flurry of updates, lots of information, and now we're going to do this 2-week cadence so that we can keep you updated in more real time of everything that's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to start with a bit of a product and engineering update because I know that's what everybody's most excited about and most interested in is where is the product stand today. The word of the month on our side was integration. So I think to give an analogy, think of any big project, for example, building a plane. First, you would design and manufacture all the pieces separately, the engine, the wings, the fuselage. You test them all independently to make sure that they're all working, and then you get them all together for assembly. And once you put it all together, you're going to find that you may need to make some adjustments. Things don't work exactly as planned together, but it's just kind of all part of the process of building something as big and complicated as a plane. In our case, that's kind of what we're doing for the IDEX, the upcoming version of IDEX, right? We're in this integration phase. So we built all the pieces separately. We started out with this R&D process, mapped out exactly what each component is supposed to do, the smart contracts, the trading engine, the liquidation service, etc. And now we're at the phase where we're putting them all together. So that requires connecting all the different pieces and then seeing what is and what isn't working and making adjustments from there. So, a small example just to bring it home, we have a cool new mechanism in our design to handle funding payments. So if you think about funding payments in a perpetuals platform, every 8 hours you have a transfer of fees from whichever side is overweight, wherever the price is above or below the spot market, right? Longs pay shorts or shorts pay longs. So if you can have thousands of positions open at any one time, you don't want to have to submit those funding payment transactions to the network every 8 hours. That's going to create a lot of network activity, and it's going to be a very inefficient process. So we designed a mechanism that allows us to only incorporate funding payments into the settlement of a particular trade. So closing of an open position, that's when we actually submit those funding payments to the contract. So we built that functionality in the contract. We built that functionality off chain. We went to hook them all up together, and we realized that our system was only submitting the trade component of those settlements. It wasn't including the funding payments in this dispatch process. So that's an example of like a very nuanced detail that we realize, once we get to this level of kind of integration and connectivity between the different pieces, you start to get those just smaller little items that come up. So this is why we do the extensive testing and internal review that we do, because we're able to identify these sorts of problems and update it before we even get to the testnet phase. A few other key items on the development and product front this past couple of weeks. So we finalized support for EIP 712 in our signature scheme. If you're familiar with that, this is a way to expose the information that users are signing in a human readable format. So this was something that was flagged in our audit. We did not incorporate into previous versions because it wasn't mature at the time of building those contracts. But it was flagged in the audit, didn't have any security implications, but it's a nice user experience and something that we wanted to add. And now is the time to do it before we deploy the contract. We've been going through a lot of UI reviews. So we've been fixing a variety of smaller items, in particular to the way that data is presented to users within the application. So that's an example of this integration piece. We've got the backend system and the API that pushes all this information to the web client. And we're now connecting those pieces and making decisions about exactly how that information should be displayed. We did a proof of concept for a multi-Oracle system. So perpetuals exchanges rely on Oracle pricing in order to determine the current spot price of those markets and then inform things like funding payments as well as margin and liquidation. So we have now a backup in place in case that we run into any issues with the liveness of the Oracle system. And then finally, we did a successful deployment and testing of our smart contracts on the network that we're most likely to launch on. We're not going to be able to share that quite yet, so more info on that later in terms of the network that we're going to be choosing. With that, I'll turn it over to Victor for updates on all things marketing and community.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. And thanks, Anwar, again for hosting. Great stuff coming from the product and engineering side. Every day, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to be able to get that whitelist beta up and start letting you guys actually touch and feel the product. As far as updates on the marketing, growth, and BD side, there's a few different things happening. Obviously, you guys are, as a community, pretty in tune with a lot of the things that are coming out from the marketing team. But I did want to touch on a few things that aren't as transparent or aren't as clear that are happening right now. So the first thing I do want to mention, just before I get into a few updates, is I want to clarify that some of the confusion that we've been seeing in the community is around V4 and Layer 3. I want to make it clear that in some sense, we've completely deprecated the version naming system of IDEX V1, V2, V3, V4. And we really want to make this, come to fruition. And I realize it's somewhat of a difficult task because for the last, 4 or 5 years, we've had this version naming system. But we really want to just become the new IDEX, right? Just clean. If you want to picture, the social network movie with Mark Zuckerberg when he removes right? That's kind of what we're going for. And I think it's going to be critical moving into the future of IDEX as a product for everyone to understand that there is no, different versions. The past no longer matters. It's all about the brand now of just IDEX. So this is something to keep in mind. I think it's something that we'll need to work on across the next, few months or few weeks. But I think over time, a lot of the external community, a lot of the people paying attention to IDEX will really align with that and we'll be able to move forward with it. Cool. So one of the first things that we're working on that you guys aren't as privy to right now is actually the new IDEX blog and academy. So I think one of the things we really realized was we had a lot of this fragmentation with Medium and our old Squarespace blog. And I think even beyond that, we also had content outside of those two platforms. So really what we're trying to do now is, on one hand, consolidate all of that so it can be on one platform. All of the information is easy to find, whether it's promotions, news, announcements, or even things like insights from our team. and ultimately remove that fragmentation. The other thing I really want to do is make it look sexy as fuck, right? I want you to go to the blog. I want you to be able to see articles around scalping, around order blocks, about support and resistance, from guest writers like Cred, maybe Luke, whoever it is. And I think really we want to make a content hub that doesn't feel cringe, right? I want there to be alpha on the blog. And I think that's really what we're striving for. I think it's going to take a while for us to get there. But the first step right now that we're doing is a complete redesign of the blog. If you do open it right now, you'll see that it's already starting to change a little bit. And over the next few days and towards next week, we'll be able to release the new redesign as well as a new section called Academy, which we'll tease a little bit more over the next coming weeks and days. Next thing on the list that you guys have been actually participating a lot in is our incentives programs as they relate to kind of social and community, right? For the past version of IDEX, a lot of our focus for incentives were aligned with product actions. So things like trading, with things like the trading rewards and the first trade bonuses, rewarding people for being early users on SushiSwap and Uniswap on Polygon and things like that. One thing that we kind of lacked up until recently was incentives for the community, right, outside of the product. And I think Zeely or Crew 3, as they used to be referred to, has been pretty helpful with that. And I think it's clearly made an impact. I mean, there's probably a significant chunk of you guys here that came from that campaign. And so we want to continue investing in that. We do have another Zeely campaign coming up, as I'm sure the team has teased. But in the meantime, we're actually also exploring a bunch of different incentives programs with Zeely's competitors. So there's Galaxy, Sparkwave, Questive, and a few others. And we're working across all of these teams with our BD squad to really figure out, what's the best path forward, who's going to be the best partner for us for community and social incentives, and what does that kind of look like for like a long-term future. And I don't want to leak too much just yet, but there's a lot of really interesting stuff happening there, and I think over the next few weeks, you guys are going to see it come to fruition. All right, next on the list. I don't think I got a chance to mention this, but we are expanding our team yet again. I'll do a more concrete intro in the Discord whenever he's around, but you guys have probably seen Llama in the chat. Llama is a longtime shit poster, an absolute legend of crypto Twitter, and we're super, super, super fucking lucky to have him on board, have him come on and bolster our social efforts alongside Pancakes, alongside helping out across a number of different initiatives. So please give Llama a warm welcome, a huge hug. I think he's going to find an incredible home here, and again, we're super fortunate to have him come on board. All right, moving into some of the last points here before we get into Q&A. So one of the big things that we're going to be pushing for over the next 3-4 weeks and kind of going into the summer is this whole notion of DeFi Summer 2.0. I'm going to be honest, my goal is to essentially meme this into reality. I think we at this point have the firepower and the brand potential and market share that we can actually make DeFi Summer 2.0 a real thing. And the way we're going to be doing this is a variety of different ways. I'm sure you guys will catch the vibe as it starts to take over the timeline. Twitter, you guys have probably seen some of the pink start to hit the timeline, some of the synth waves start to hit the timeline. And I think over time, as we get closer, to the middle of the summer, as we start to hit the palm tree vibes, that's going to increase. And I think what we really want to do here is something similar to Solana Summer, minus the cringe. And that's really, I think, where IDEX will be able to shine, is if we are able to combine, this whole kind of narrative alongside the vibe of summer with the launch. And I think it's kind of what we've been trying to work on for the last few months, is figure out not only, how do we make IDEX really popular, but how do we actually create a narrative for IDEX to flourish and really be able to nurture it inside this cocoon, right, of branding and marketing. So over the next weeks and months, you're going to see a few different initiatives in line with this, including merch store. So some of you guys will finally be able to get merch, and there will be a few other things that are coming into place, but I'll just say, just keep an eye on it. All right, lastly, we have two more things I'll tease very quickly here. Let's see, how do I leak this without giving away too much information? Basically, what we're looking to do with partnerships is start to explore an area that I don't think many other projects, or especially exchanges, have really ventured into, and that's NFT partnerships. What we're really looking to do here is cultivate, some of the cults that have been created around NFT projects and bring some of that cult-like mentality to IDEX and see what kind of crossover there is between a lot of the different NFT projects and their traders, along with what IDEX is able to offer. So some of the top tier projects we're looking at are obviously Miladies, Apes, Anadas, as well as a few others. And so far the conversations have been pretty promising. I think we're super excited to see how it can pan out. Obviously it's extremely experimental, which is why I'm a little bit hesitant to, tease or leak too much. But I'll say that I think if we're able to pull this off, we'll probably be one of the only exchanges that's able to tap into the entire NFT internet culture. And so I'm super, super excited about that. And lastly, I just wanted to reaffirm our kind of, focus on ensuring there's additional on-chain liquidity for the IDEX token. Our goal as a growth and marketing team is to make sure that as many people have the ability to gain access to IDEX staking as possible. And right now, with the IDEX token primarily being available on centralized exchanges as well as IDEX Classic, we feel like we haven't really reached that objective just yet. And so we're continuing to explore a lot of different options, including things like Balancer, Convex, Uniswap V3, and working along with some dedicated market makers to figure out if we're able to, come up with a solution so that the community is able to have that access and able to, get access to IDEX token so that they can become stakers. And that's about it from my side. Hopefully that paints a pretty good picture of what's happening on the marketing side. I know I leaked a lot, so it's up to you if you go spread this out into the world or keep it all to yourself. It is alpha at the end of the day. And so that's it from me. I'll let Anwar take it from here. We can get into some Q&A. Thanks, guys.
That was actually way more alpha than even I expected. So yeah, if you were paying attention, you were in the right place. So, okay, if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. So I'm going to begin by answering some of the early ones. So first question from ZZ Top Chef. I think this is probably a question for Alex. And I think it may have been covered last time, but we'll go through it again just because. Will stakers need to upgrade nodes?
So that probably is the answer. We don't know 100% for sure if we'll get the new staking node update released at the same time as the new exchange. We don't want to delay launch of the exchange for the staking network upgrade because the existing network will work with the exchange. But we're trying to get those two out at the same time. So just pay attention to our comms. We'll let anyone know if there's anything that needs to be done with plenty of lead time to keep your staking node online.
Amazing. Thank you, Alex. So yeah, this next one, I think it's probably better for Victor. So this one is from Red Panda, and Red Panda would like to know, does the Layer 3 announcement mean that the team is building a Polygon supernet, or is it just a Fugazi term for a half sex and DEX?
Thanks, Red Panda. I think ultimately the answer is it's not a half centralized exchange, half DEX. I think what it really is a completely novel product that's able to combine the benefits of both the two. I'll also say that while we're considering Polygon and Supernets as well as a lot of different network choices, ultimately our complete goal is to have Layer 3 become its own network. And I'll sort of leave it there.
Yeah, I'll drop in the chat here. This was a blog post that we released a couple weeks ago that touches on why Layer 3 networks are interesting to us. And it really revolves around off-chain data availability and the additional scalability that comes from that decision. So that's Layer 2s, Layer 3s are really all about what trade-offs can you make that improves the user experience without sacrificing the security that comes from self-custody. And that's a big one for order book DEXs because it allows us to have gas-free settlement while still maintaining that ultimate control on the user's end.
Thank you so much, Alex. Okay, so here's a couple of Pope questions from General IDEXter. So I think I'll probably take these ones. So are the Popes tradable? Okay, so at this point in time, the Popes will be minted directly to your wallet address. So at this point, they are not tradable. However, this is actually something we're actively discussing. However, I don't suggest you think about trading those because I will say again, they might have some future utility and that when might be soon. And will you be able to get more than one? Yes, you can for now. So when you can still get more than one, I suggest you try and actually do that as we go along right here, right now. So thank you, General IDEX. And here's another question from A. Rashid. What are the long-term sustainable value drivers for the IDEX tokens? There are a few. Does Alex or Victor want to take one of this? Take this one, sorry.
Yeah, sure. I can take it unless Alex wants to.
Yeah, I'll start it off. The main thing is the use of it in the staking network. So we use the value of the IDEX token to help secure the exchange, and for that, stakers get 50% of the fees from the platform. On top of that, though, we're also exploring some of the more traditional use cases for the token with respect to utility within the exchange itself. So that could be things like fee tier discounts or other kind of benefits for the users that are trading on the platform.
Cool. Yeah, fantastic. I don't have much to add to that. I think the only thing I want to touch on is, in the past, we've really experimented with convoluted and complex token utility, like a lot of the, hypothetically innovative products you see in the market today. But I think really when it comes down to supporting our stakers and making sure everyone wants to continue supporting the IDEX network and continue to host that node, what we really want to do is make it as simple as possible. And at the moment, the token utility, being the fact that you're generating 50% of the exchange revenue going to stakers, I think it's about as simple as it can get, right? And so if the exchange is successful and the exchange is driving volume, then the staking system is successful and we have this positive feedback loop. And as Alex mentioned, we do want to add some of the additional token utility, like potentially paying for fees or having discounts. But ultimately, the entire backbone, I think, of the IDEX token and the IDEX staking system is the fact that it's really, really simple. Right. I mean, you can explain it to a 5-year-old.
Amazing. So yeah, hope that answers your question. So this one is probably going to Victor as well. Reese would like to ask, what merch can we expect?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Reese. You can expect any and all merch you would ever want to see from IDEX.
Oh, well, I can. I
That's
know
a
what I want.
dangerous answer.
Yeah, I can think of so many things. Okay, but on that note, we'll move on before we get into any more trouble about merch. Okay, so Lewin, in regards to whitelisting and starting to do some testing, any time spent for that? And I'm guessing he wants to know what we can do to help out with whitelisting or testing. Does Manuel want to take this one? No, it's okay. Well, look, in regards to whitelisting, I can tell you for sure one of the best things you can do to try to make your way into that is to be right here in the community town hall. The second best place to look would probably be Zeely, and of course, pay attention to our comms because these things are actually going to come out very, very soon. So basically, how to get on the whitelist and what kind of activities we're going to do to promote that. All the info is going to be coming out really, really soon, and that is the time spent for that really, really soon. Thanks for that question. So, okay, moving
Just to
on.
add a little bit, if you think about the steps we're going to be going through right now, as I mentioned, we're integrating everything together and testing to make sure that they work together as expected. The next step is to get everyone within the IDEX team onboarded into a testnet version so that we can all bang around and do our own end-to-end testing. So depositing funds, opening, closing positions, getting liquidated, everything that you would imagine that is going to be live on the exchange. After that, we'll be then opening it up for our rollout to get the public involved, because there's certain things that you can really only uncover once you actually have a certain level of scale and users on the platform at one time. So that's absolutely where we're going to want the community to get involved. And as Anwar mentioned, we'll have a few different ways that you can jump into that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the clarification on the timeline. So yeah, as much as these things are happening in some time, directions may come out sooner than that. So yeah, just please pay attention. We want to make sure to keep you guys engaged, keep you all excited, and just as excited as we are for the all new IDEX. So yeah, Manuel, did you want to add anything?
From the community, we have heard some minor complaints about traders on the community not getting like whitelisted and us getting to the traders. Don't worry, we have you in mind, and obviously you are in top of the list to get into the whitelisting beta.
Cool. Thank you, Manuel. So yeah, Tribalism also asks, will trading rewards continue? So, leading on from what Manuel just said, I think yes. And Tribalism would also know any leaks on how the UI will look like. Victor, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, for sure. So if you go to the homepage right now, you can already start to get an idea of what the updated or refresh UI looks like. Our whole design thesis with user experience in general has been, let's make it as familiar as possible to what's out there right now, right? So I think a lot of our new users and existing users will probably be coming over from centralized exchanges like Binance and Bybit. Realistically, those are the ones we're competing with. And so from our design decisions, we made a lot of choices that will reflect that, and you'll feel very familiar when you first jump on IDEX. And then as time goes on, we'll start to make small tweaks and quality of life changes that we think should have been improvements that maybe the centralized exchanges made, but should have made, but decided not to for whatever reason. And so again, you can kind of take a quick look at the homepage to get an idea of what it'll look like. And then over the next few weeks, we'll probably start sharing more and more of the UI to get you guys, more in line with what that looks like.
Cool, that's amazing. Reese has got a question where he's asking, what are you most excited about the new IDEX? I think this is probably a personal one, and I think everybody has their own opinion. Do we want to go and do a round on this? Alex, Victor, do you want to take it in turns to say what you are most excited about with the new IDEX?
Sure. So for me, this is personal. We've been building on top of this original platform for the last 6 years with this clear vision of an exchange that lets you self-custody your own assets, but feels exactly like the top-tier centralized exchanges. And it's been largely a technical challenge of how to build a system that interacts with an underlying network while giving you that user experience, while at the same time having these underlying networks scale. Going back to our first experience with on-chain congestion with CryptoKitties in 2017, this is something that we've been striving for a long time. So that, to me, it's like this culmination of this dream that we had 6+ years ago now that we think we're really finally realizing with this next version.
Do you want to go
Awesome
next,
answer.
Victor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my answer is really simple. I'm extremely excited because I know I'm going to trade on it every day. Ever since my first day of registering on BitMEX, I've been wanting an exchange that offers all the same performance, but doesn't, push me through 27 different pages to sign up. All I want to do is trade the exact same way I have without, all of the UX issues. And that's why I'm so fucking excited about IDEX.
Yeah, and for me, on a personal level, I've actually been in the DEX space for quite a while now, so I've never actually seen a DEX experience that is going to be anything quite like the new IDEX. So it should be not even equal to centralized. It should be better. It should be faster. The rewards should be better, and it should be just an all-encompassing kind of engagement where everything is there. You can interact with your friends socially. You can be just a solo wolf trader, all of that, so it's got a little bit of something for everybody. So yeah, I'm super stoked for that. Okay, so moving on. This is a good one. Ofo wants to ask, which event in 2023 will the team attend? Maybe some of the guys want to talk a little bit and talk about the party that we had in ETH Tokyo.
Sure, yeah, I can touch on that. It's a great question, honestly. We're pretty keen on looking to attend at least 1 to 2 events around the launch of IDEX. I'm also, greedily really hoping we have a launch party, maybe in Paris or ETH Waterloo. But for now, we're not 100% certain. Obviously, ETH Tokyo went incredibly well. We had, I think, over 300 people come to our event. It was just an incredible turnout with probably every single influencer that was in Tokyo at the time came by and reached out and said, hey, we're super excited about IDEX. So I think we've cemented a kind of a foothold in the in-person event space at this point, and we know for sure that if we host anything, we can expect a pretty amazing turnout. So yeah, I would just say keep your eyes open, and if there's something near you, we'll definitely make sure to send you an invite.
Oh man, I can't wait for more IDEX parties. Okay. Tondi seems to really want to know, when can we expect IDEX plushie claw machines in Europe? I think probably when you get them for us, Tondi. What do you think? Victor, plushie claws?
We're gonna make an IDEX claw game for the launch party. Okay, Tondi. So you'll have to come to that if you want to play it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Court is asking, how soon will the 2D part of the Zeely campaign start? Manuel, can you answer this one?
We
I think you lagged out a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay. We will pass on that one then. We will come. Let's just say we miss questions out. We will actually come back and reply in the chat even after the call was done. So don't be scared, guys. Don't worry. Keep hitting us with the questions. So Yashir, the Brian CryptoNext, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Good to see you asking questions again. So Yashir would like to know how to use the IDEX Layer 3 because many people are still not familiar with the DEX. So is there any way to make a video or write a step-by-step guideline along with the launch? I think this one's a question for Victor.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing question, and I think it's definitely something we've not been the greatest at in the past IDEX versions, and I think for this one, it's top of mind for us by far. There's a few different ways we want to do this. So first of all, we want to have internal guides that we produce on our own. The second thing we want to do is throw up a bounty program, which allows the community members to create guides. And then third, we're actually going to do something similar with the bounty program, but on the international side of things, so that there's a video for how to use IDEX in every single language out there, and everyone is able to have a really good understanding of how to onboard themselves. But the last point I'll add is, I think our goal is to make IDEX so simple that you won't need to read anything. You'll just really be able to understand how to use it as soon as you connect your wallet.
Awesome. So yeah, looks like we're covering all the bases. So okay, on that note, I think that pretty much wraps it up. We've actually gone through all the questions. So, once again, I would like to thank everybody for coming. But just before you go, just want one last call to action. Watch out for the next Zeely campaign. I'm sure if you've been reading the chats, there's already been a little bit of alpha spill there. Look out for the daily quest. We will have a bigger prize pool than the last time, okay? Rewards, rewards, rewards. Wondering how to whitelist? We will include some seats in the next Zeely, but we will also grant access to our community of traders, all right? Which chain? When is the next video? When is the product coming? That is all coming super soon. So stay tuned to our comms. And of course, don't forget to join us at the next town hall. This one was a super fun one. There was super good engagement. Once again, thank you everybody for coming. And yeah, we will see you next time. See you later, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks everybody.